Hello and welcome to the Channel 1 Newsroom from our studios at number 5 Owula Hansen Lane at Tesano. I'm Frema Edunyame. Coming up, President Mahama describes the first 1 year of his administration as difficult yet fulfilling.
The work we have begun is far from finished, but today reminds us that progress is not measured only by numbers and by charts and diagrams. It is also measured by hope that is restored.
Education Minister pushes for a 2.5% allocation of petroleum revenue to support operations of the Scholarship Authority.
I strongly was pushing for earmark funding for the Ghana Scholarship Authority. We should dedicate 2.5% of our petroleum royalty revenue to the development of human capital and dedicated to the Scholarship Authority.
La Nkwantanan Municipal Assembly employs stiffer measures to get pedestrians use footbridges.
As they to use the bridge, we will have no problem with any other. The sustainability, yes, we are sustaining it. So long as we live in Medina, it is going to be sustained and ensure that the discipline will be adhered to.
Also coming up, Rubber Farmers Association of Ghana protests calls for a ban on the export of raw rubber.
Pushing for an export ban is not about protecting national industrialization. It is a deliberate attempt to monopolize the market, suppress competition, and force farmers to sell rubber cap plums at artificially low prices.
In Channel 1 Business, Ghana ends 2025 with a 5.4% inflation rate. And in Channel 1 Sports, Nigerian national team players threatened to boycott training over unpaid winning bonuses. Now, in our first story, President John Dramani Mahama has celebrated his 1-year anniversary in office, describing the period as one marked by difficult but necessary decisions that have laid the foundation for sustainable growth. At a Thanksgiving ceremony held at the Jubilee House, President John Mahama said his government will prioritize policies and programs that deliver more tangible benefits to citizens. Channel 1 News' presidential correspondent Akusi Ochre reports.
I shall submit myself.
I shall submit myself
To the laws of the Republic of Ghana.
to the laws of the Republic of Ghana
And suffer.
and suffer
The penalty for it.
the penalty for it.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
January 7 marks exactly 1 year since President John Dramani Mahama swore the oath of office, the oath of allegiance, and the oath of secrecy to the people of Ghana as he assumed office for the second time as president. The Thanksgiving service, according to clergymen present, was necessary as the journey over the past year has been marked by both successes and challenges.
The Bible says, in all things we should give God thanks, inasmuch as we are counting many successes chalked by this administration. We also remember the tragedy that befell this country that threw us into pain and mourning, the helicopter crash that led to the perishing of some of the gallant men of this country, and several other negative incidents that happened. We are here to thank God for the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Na won titi o man se de sifata me kai tembia o mo from no grassroots no o me hwe o mu yi na o mo so daachi o mo na e den e be soa o man e de amayen.
During the ceremony, the mandate given to the president was reflected upon as he noted the focus of his first year was on stabilizing the economy and establishing strong foundations.
As we look back on the past year, we do so honestly. We have taken difficult decisions. We have undertaken difficult reforms. We've laid the foundations that may not yet be visible, but are sustainable for the sustainable progress of our country. We have prioritized economic stabilization, institutional reform, social protection, and the restoration of confidence, both within our country and in the international community. The work we have begun is far from finished, but today reminds us that progress is not measured only by numbers and by charts and diagrams. It is also measured by hope that is restored, by trust that is rebuilt, and correct direction that is regained.
Some appointees of the government also expressed optimism about the direction of the administration.
2026 will be remarkable for President John Dramani Mahama in many respects. 2025, the focus was on the economic reset. We have achieved stability, inflation is down, exchange rate is better. What we need is to spur growth and anchor transformation so that we can improve the quality of life of the Ghanaian.
In 2026, as you have already indicated, the improvement, the interventions you have seen, which I'm not going to repeat, but we are looking at its sustainability. In some cases, bringing the intervention is not as a Herculean task as sustaining the intervention. So, for example, the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, for example, we are going to look at how we can sustain it.
As government enters its second year of governance, attention is expected to move towards delivering tangible results for the people of Ghana, including the continuous fight against illegal mining, job creation, and also infrastructure development, as we have begun to see in the year 2026 all the way from 2025. Reporting for Channel One News from Jubilee House, I'm Makusi Autry.
Now, as President John Mahama's administration marks its first year in office, attention turns to the government's ambitious big push infrastructure drive. From new highways and bridges to longer-awaited upgrades, the administration says it is laying the foundation for nationwide connectivity and economic transformation. There is more in the following report by Channel One News' Philip Latte.
In 2025, President John Dramani Mahama's administration vigorously rolled out the Big Push Infrastructure Initiative, a comprehensive program aimed at modernizing Ghana's transport and other critical infrastructure sectors. Under this flagship plan, the road sector has been given top priority with massive investment earmarked to rehabilitate existing networks and construct new roads to improve connectivity across the country. Some of the major projects under the Big Push include the construction of a new bridge on the Oti River at Dambai and the rehabilitation of key highways and regional roads such as the Waham Road, Tumu Hamle Road, Tumu Ham Lora Road, and the Navrongo Tumu Road. Others are the Tichiman Nkonsia Wenchi Road, Wenchi Solar Road, Sunyani Outer Ring Road, and the Kumasi Outer Ring Road. Dualization projects are also underway on the Winneba Mankasim and Cape Costa Krade roads, alongside rehabilitation of Tema Aplau Road, the Dodowa Afienya Dowenya Road, and the upgrading of the Oyibi Apollonia Afienya Road.
One of his vision for the road sector is the Big Push agenda, and together with my minister, we have put the vision on track and on road. That is how come so far we have cut short for the construction of major critical roads across the country, together with His Excellency the President.
One of the biggest projects on the government's table is the construction of the Accra-Kumasi Expressway. According to President Mahama, plans are far advanced for the sword-cutting ceremony to mark the start of the long-awaited expressway, a transformative project expected to widen and modernize the main corridor linking Ghana's capital Accra to Kumasi, reducing congestion and boosting economic activity. The government has also prioritized the continuation of key projects that began under the previous administration. Among these are the Ofankor Insawam rehabilitation, Accra Tema motorway expansion, and the Swami interchange and ancillary roads, among others.
Exactly 90 days ago, I was here because of the outcry from the traveling public about the nature of this particular stretch of road of Ofankor. When we came, we met a road that was moving at a snail pace, and there were many constraints associated with what was happening. But the major one was non-payment for work done for a very long time. And so, of course, I ordered the road minister and the finance minister to make sure that payment was made to the contractor. And so more than $70 million was paid to the contractor. And I promised that I'll come back after 3 months to come and see the progress of work that has been done. Today is exactly 3 months since I last came here. And I'm quite impressed with the progress that has been made.
The Mahama government has also indicated that funds have been released to clear outstanding debts owed to road contractors. President Mahama recently announced that he has directed the Ministry of Finance to release 1 billion Ghana cedis to pay contractors who have been owed since 2017. Deputy Minister for Roads and Highways, Al-Hassan Suhini, says Ghanaians should expect significant improvement in the road sector as government enters its second year in office.
We should look forward to a consolidation of what has started, an improvement of what has started. I mean, His Excellency the President made it clear that very soon the country was going to be like a construction site. And clearly, if you go through our communities, it is hard for you to miss the constructions that are going on. From our major trunk roads to our inner city roads, there are contractors on many of these roads. And Ghanaians should expect that we will continue to provide the leadership, the supervision, and the guidance.
Now, the president of the University Teachers Association of Ghana, Utah KNUST chapter, Professor Eric Abavari, has expressed concern over the growing shortage of lecturers in tertiary institutions, accusing the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, of neglecting its core mandate and focusing on what he describes as less critical issues. There is more in this report.
Reviewing the government's performance after a year in office, Professor Bavari acknowledged that the no-fee stress policy for first-year tertiary students is a laudable initiative aimed at reducing the financial burden on students. However, he noted that the policy has placed immense pressure on public universities, which have not received the necessary resources to operate effectively. He blamed GTEC for failing to support tertiary institutions in mobilizing critical resources, arguing that the Commission appears more preoccupied with issues such as academic titles rather than addressing urgent challenges confronting universities. He warned that the renewal of conditions of service must be prioritized, cautioning that failure to do so could have serious consequences.
GTEC is only good at pursuing trivial issues. It behoves on GTEC to ensure that its own norms in terms of lecturer-teacher ratio are improved. They give you the norms, but they do not ask how to improve the norms. Their responsibility was to ensure that they get clearance for the universities for lecturer recruitment. They have reneged on it. For me, it is shameful. If you look at statistics on KNUST campus right now, we have just 1,082 lecturers teaching over 80,000 students.
While commending the government for stabilizing the city, he criticized its approach to combating illegal mining, describing the fight against galamsey as largely ineffective.
The shore of the city had come as a result of the purchase of galamsey gold. And so the gold board, but their own evaluation assessment say that they get more of the gold from the Galamsey area.
Utah KNUST President Professor Eric Abavari is urging the president to intensify efforts in the fight against illegal mining and resource universities to effectively carry out their mandates. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Doris Lonta, Ashanti Region.
Right now, for more on President John Dramani Mahama's first year in office, we are joined in the studio by NDC MP for Ikumfi, Honorable Othniel Eko Kwenu. You're welcome, Honorable.
Thank you.
How are you doing, and Happy New Year?
I'm doing great, you can see.
Well, I expect that. Anyway, so to start with, let me just pick your personal thoughts on the President's 1 year anniversary. How would you assess his performance so far?
It's been a fantastic one, if you ask me. In my language, they say, Okwabrai, Ochapara Omanumu. Means he's done so well and deserves commendation from everyone.
Right.
Now, if you look at even what people are saying all over social media, it's a reflection of the hard work he's done. For me, what excites me the most is he has only 57 ministers. In 1 year, he's basically, done what if I should say Napoleon and everybody could not do. The president has done so well. I think that I'm not surprised why people are even asking for him to go for another term. But in any case, I think it's in the wisdom of the framers of the Constitution. So that is yet to be decided upon.
Of course, now, people have commended him for indicators like the exchange rates, like the inflation and all. What is he doing right? What's accounting for this?
As I was coming, one thing just crossed my mind. How was he able to do it? And I got only one word. Discipline.
How?
They are just disciplined on everything they are supposed to do. The ministry is working within its remits, Bank of Ghana within its remits. The president has realized the need to be disciplined as far as all the parameters that have been set for the country's economy to work within. I'm not surprised. Today, all the indicators, be it reserves, interest rate, inflation, all of them are going the right way. It's because there's a man who has a vision to reset this country and to put it on the right path. So today, if you are seeing what is happening, it's a reflection of the competence of the ministers even selected. People underestimate the word discipline that I use, but really, if you go deeper into it, with discipline, everything you are doing begins to take shape, as it were. And I'm really proud of the president for what he has done, because in just 1 year, he has done literally what couldn't be done in 8 years.
Could it be as a result of understanding? If you look at protests from teachers and nurses, could that be an issue? That is why we have things a bit stabilized. We are not spending as he's supposed to.
In the management of the economy, right, it is not a matter of spending. Anybody can spend, but you spend into productive sectors of the economy, which will bring you results, right? And this is exactly what he's doing. Let me give you an example. If you look at the budget statement that was read, if we came into office and decided to pay all contractors for the sake of it, if you have realized that you would have paid people who don't even deserve it. So clearly, you need to have a very concerted effort to really understand the basis upon which things are being done. And that is exactly what they are doing. It's not a matter of just paying. But today, you can see what is going on. Every road is literally seeing the light of day. I was driving on the street one day near La Palme. There's a small section of the road. 8 years, that small section was not done. Recently, I drove past there and was like, wow. Really?
Well, then the poison road in my area is yet to be done.
Well, now that you say, I'm sure the minister is clearly watching.
So I'm putting that across as well. Yes. But could this also be as a result of the Gold for Reserve program?
No, the Gold for Reserve, I have been in that industry for a while. We've been yearning for it for years, because clearly, if you look at how much Ghana had exported, even using the UAE as an example, we exported over 7 billion. But clearly, the amount that came to Ghana was just about 2-3 billion. About 30% we could not account for. So this gold for reserves, gold for oil, the MPP's time now gold for reserves, is helping Ghana to maximize the benefit from our resources. So for me, I think it's one of the most brilliant ideas that has emanated from this government. To the extent that if you look at the contribution to our reserves, it clearly tells you that we have enough buffers, 4.8 months of import cover. Anytime there's a pressure, they can easily fall on our reserves and deal with it. Today, you and I are benefiting from stable exchange rate. You can plan. you can travel, go for holidays. Today you can buy a car. You know, even with that, Ghana is seeing very good signs as far as this economy is concerned. And for me, I think that all the right things have been done. Today, if I ask you which side of the economy is not doing well, I'm sure you even struggle to tell me.
But some Ghanaians are not struggling to say that, yes, the figures on paper look beautiful, they look brilliant, but it's not translating into the standard of living.
You know, you need to put it in perspective.
Yeah.
Today, let's say your salary hasn't changed, but your fuel price has gone down. Today, if you go to the market, you are buying things at a lower price. These are all benefits. The purchasing power of your funds has increased. To the extent that the things that you struggle to do, now you can do them with ease. Let me use myself as an example. I mean, this year we had to dish out a lot of rice because it's festive season. Some time passed, we were buying 5 kilograms of rice for 150 Ghana cedis. Today, we are buying it 60, 70 cedis. That is a huge saving. I can actually use the same amount to take care of 2 people and everybody will be happy. And clearly, this is translated across all sectors. Agriculture has seen a steady growth, 2.9%. Today we are doing almost double, 6%. And this is all around. Let me give you an example. I basically came from the banking industry. The government comes into power. It says, okay, I'm not interested in collapsing banks using huge amounts of money. I'm going to recapitalize banks. Today, ADB has been recapitalized. Today, CBG has been recapitalized. NIB has also been recapitalized. What is fascinating about it is NIB Bank, which was destined for destruction, today is making profit. By end of year, they are making about 250 million Ghana cedis. Taxes will be paid from it. Government is going to get money. So in a few years, this money that has been put into NIB will become profit to government.
But on employment, there's still a big problem. The 24-hour economy that was promised that we will have 3 people on 3 shifts for 1 employment. Not much has been seen, and Ghanaian youth are still crying about employment. In the 1 year, we haven't seen so much on that. What do you say to that?
You know, let me just use one indicator. GDP. We have oil GDP and non-oil GDP. That alone has moved from 2.8% to 7.5%. And you know what it indicates? It indicates the expansion of the economy as well as job creation. Let me also tell you this. In 2022, right, the government, by virtue of a report from the World Bank, sent 800,000 people below the poverty line. Now, in this 2026 budget, the government is saying that it is going to create 800,000 jobs. Road sector, 490,000. The palm industry, 250,000. The agro industry, about 2,000. So clearly, if you add everything, you are getting 800,000. This is work in progress. And let me just say this. Before we got to this point, Ghanaians were even asking, how is the NDC government going to manage the economy to the extent that we can get out of this hole that we were put in? But in 1 year, everything has changed. So now Ghanaians are even asking for more.
So the young people crying for jobs is a foul cry?
No, it's not. Absolutely not.
So what are the
jobs?
I'm
saying, the economy must be able to stand on its own, like you are seeing now, to start creating the opportunities for the young people. Now, 800,000, it's not a joke. That's a big number.
So does that mean that we are going to see the jobs from his second year?
I believe strongly so.
Right. So moving into his second year, what should we expect generally?
No, I think, look, this year is going to be another interesting year for Ghanaians. I mean, the job on the roadside is just one that I've indicated. There are other ones. I mean, if I sit here and I tell you that even in the financial sector, jobs are being created all over the place. But because it is unspoken, but yet the good thing is that we have places like the statistical service.
Your achievements, you are talking about it. So if you're not talking about that, it means it's not
there. No, hold on.
Yeah.
See, sometimes when, like, let me give you the reason why I probably might say that. The MPP said they are created about 2.5 million jobs. Eventually, statistical service came out to say that they have created jobs less than 500,000. So, you know, that is a credible institution that can determine how much jobs have been created. So even if though we are not singing our song, we know what is going on. And we expect that such a credible institution will come out and tell exactly what the story is. But I can tell you for a fact, there's so much job that have been created. Look, all these programs, Ejumera, what do you call it? People who are being put for police. This, how do you call it? Oh, sorry. All these, how do you call it? Sorry. People in the
I get it.
Policing,
the security agencies
policing,
and all.
prisons,
yes.
fire service, all these guys, their jobs that are being created.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I mean, Gold Board is a new institution that came up. People have been employed. Oh, you don't count that as part of it?
Well, so if with the figures that you put out there, if what you've mentioned is a significant figure, then I'll leave that for the young people of Ghana to decide. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Honorable
much.
Ekwapedo, MP for Ekumfi. Thank you very much for coming. Now, moving on, the Minister of Education, Haruna Idrisu, has proposed allocating 2.5% of petroleum royalty revenue to support the operations of the Scholarship Authority. The proposal was announced during the swearing-in ceremony of the authority's governing council. The following report has more.
According to the minister, the Scholarship Authority is currently saddled with a debt of 834 million cedis. He explained that the proposed funding mechanism is expected to help reduce the debt while ensuring a steady and reliable flow of funds to support brilliant but needy students across the country.
Currently, I'm told that the Scholarship Authority is in debt of about 834 million Ghana cedis. That's why I strongly was pushing for earmark funding for the Ghana Scholarship Authority. As successful as I was, I'm sure I'll be back to it some other day. But my argument strongly was that we should dedicate 2.5% of petroleum royalty revenue to the development of human capital and dedicate it to the Scholarship Authority.
He, however, charged the governing board to ensure that scholarships are awarded fairly and transparently without favoritism or discrimination, adding that all persons who receive scholarships should have their names published.
From today, scholarships in Ghana will reflect only 3 values: merit, need, and specific categories for purpose of national development. Nothing more. I'm not one of those, together with my deputy, who will come knocking your door that you should award scholarship to our children. That is not acceptable. We won't do that. We simply would not do. One of the things you should do, anybody you award scholarship, let the public know. Publish it. This is the era of transparency. Let the public know.
The minister also revealed that he is expected to meet with the University of Ghana on Thursday to discuss recent fee hikes.
Charge a fee and have a committee every year do an assessment, maybe based on the information, and they can do the needed adjustment. But tomorrow we are meeting with the University of Ghana.
At the moment, the students are concerned, and what would you tell the university management? Is it that we
will collectively determine it tomorrow.
The rising number of pedestrian deaths at the Medina Zongo Junction, despite the presence of a fully constructed footbridge, highlights the need for intensified law enforcement and change in public attitudes. According to the Lanquantanant Medina Municipal Assembly, pedestrians continue to choose convenience over caution, leading to about 60 deaths in the last 7 years. The Assembly is therefore rolling out strict measures to ensure compliance.
The footbridge is one of 6 constructed along the Medina-Adenta Highway in 2019, following a series of pedestrian knockdowns that triggered public protests and compelled government intervention. However, dozens of pedestrians continue to cross the busy highway instead of using the bridge, resulting in preventable fatalities. A pedestrian who spoke to Channel 1 News on the footbridge said he uses it because it is safer, despite the inconvenience.
It's safer and they reinforce and usually using there is not really safe and you can be beaten, so it's better to use here than to pass there.
He added that he uses the footbridge to avoid being embarrassed by the task force.
I don't want a situation whereby I'll be embarrassed, like trying to cut corners and I try using there and someone catches me. Maybe someone I know might be passing by, they are beating me. It's embarrassing, so I'll just prefer passing here.
Members of the task force noted that although majority of pedestrians are complying with their instructions, a few remain recalcitrant.
We are facing challenges here, but I think gradually people will understand. Because before we started with the MC himself, with some of the some national security and the BNI and the regional minister. The regional minister, she was also here. They started with us here for people to see what is going on. But as soon as the people saw that they are here, in fact, they become afraid and they stop crossing, and we also take charge that we want to take that position. And people think we started with them, so and they have some afraid small. As we are here, you know, we can say we don't have any arm. But we have a cane that if you are challenging, we'll tell you, oh, please go back, like something like playing there. We'll move you out. Yeah, so that's what we are doing here.
In an interview with Channel 1 News, the Municipal Chief Executive for the La Nkwantanan Medina Municipal Assembly, Ibrahim Faila Husseini, said the Assembly will not relent in enforcing strict compliance.
So long as they are ready to use the bridge, we will have no problem with any other. But if they don't think of themselves, government thinks of them. Because if there is an accident, you call in the police to come and pick every day. We with the police. I mean, they are also spending money. They are fueling, dieseling it up and down. They are spending money. So the sustainability, yes, we are sustaining it. So long as we live in Medina, it is going to be sustained and ensure that the discipline will be adhered to at each and every facet of that exercise. We will not allow.
Meanwhile, at the Spanner Junction near Accra Mall, a few pedestrians were seen crossing the road instead of using the footbridge despite the ongoing enforcement exercise.
This is the Channel 1 Newsroom. We take a breather here when we return. Ghana ends 2025 with a 5.4% inflation rate. We'll be right back. Do stay.
Hey Ghana, so you people know Miss Brother Man small. Even you, it's your boy. Kill them all. But this time, I'm not only killing mosquitoes, I am killing the greats. See? This wouldn't have been possible if I didn't have the perfect mosquito-free atmosphere. Thank you, Out Insecticide. And yeah, Out Mosquito Coil. For a mosquito-free atmosphere, trust Out to... You are not serious.
Out Insecticide. Soya boa faha.
Having the right diagnosis can save your life. Welcome to SynLab. Inside the state-of-the-art facility, patients have the benefits of cutting-edge technology, experienced lab technicians, personalized care in our ultra-modern clinic, and most importantly, answers.
I've been doing all my tests at MedLab for over 20 years, till they rebranded to SynLab. You know, he was just a little boy when I started bringing him to MedLab. Oh, sorry, SynLab.
SynLab is the new MedLab.
My family trusts SynLab.
At SynLab, our highly trained personnel give our clients personalized attention every step of the way.
SynLab is the preferred option for your annual routine health checks to avoid negative health surprises.
SynLab is the new MedLab.
SynLab, medical excellence for you.
Thanks for staying. Up next is Channel 1 Business with Nashika Caesar. You're welcome, Shika.
Thank you very much, Rima.
Some good news in business?
Exactly. Well, the prices of foods and commodities are not going up anymore because of inflation being stayed. So
we'd love to hear such good
news.
news.
I'm sure it's welcome news for consumers.
Of course, tell us more.
Now, Ghanaian consumers ended 2025 with some relief from rising prices as inflation closed the year at 5.4% from 6.3% in November. The trend marks 12 straight months of decline and easing pressure on household budgets. Data from the Ghana Statistical Service shows the disinflation trend was driven largely by food prices, with food inflation easing to 4.9% in December from 6.6% in November, reflecting slower increases in the cost of key food items. Government statistician Dr. Al-Hassan Idrisu has been providing insights of the data.
This result matters. Inflation has now fallen for 12 consecutive months, dropping sharply from 23.8% in December 2024 to 5.4% in December 2025. That is an 18.4 percentage point reduction in 1 year.
Now, Ghana's gross international reserves have surpassed 13.8 billion US dollars, the highest in the history of the Bank of Ghana, significantly strengthening the country's eventual financial buffers. According to the central bank, the increase reflects stronger trade performance and growing confidence in Ghana's macroeconomic management. Here's more.
The governor of the BOG, Dr. Johnson Esiama, revealed this during a meeting with the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei II, describing it as a historic achievement in Ghana's macroeconomic recovery.
Nana, on the external front, buffers have also been rebuilt. Our gross international reserves, which is the variable we use to assess our resilience as a country. Our international reserves have risen to above $13.8 billion, and this is historic. Nana, I joined the bank since 1995, and I've never seen such figures since then. So this is historic. And in terms of imports cover, we normally use the imports cover to also express the international reserves level. We are looking at close to 6 months of imports cover.
Dr. Isiama also highlighted that the country's recent economic gains, including the sharp drop in inflation to 5.4% in December 2025, were the results of sustained policy measures.
Inflation, which is the first one, it stood at 23.8% in December 2024. Inflation has fallen sharply since then. By October this year, it got to as low as 8%, and by November, it got to 6.3%. This morning, we woke up to the news that for December, that is the end of last year, inflation got down to 5.4%. Now, I must say that this trend reflected the broad-based disinflation process across both food and non-food items. Certainly, Nana, these have not happened by accident.
During the visit, the Asantehene urged the BOG to accelerate efforts to reduce interest rates, stressing that sustained economic recovery depends on affordable credit to stimulate domestic private investment.
I noticed that interest rates too have begun coming down, but from past experience, we are going to find ways of accelerating the pace.
Sure.
Let me be as blunt as I can. No amount of investment by government on its own can scratch the surface of what we need to give ourselves a sound economy.
Sure.
Nor can we expect in this era of international discord to rely on foreign investments of any significance. This moment calls for a massive push to stimulate domestic private investment in industry. That cannot happen with interest at their current cutthroat rate and level.
The visit was part of the Asantehene's ongoing efforts to strengthen engagement with the central bank and support Ghana's economic development.
Now, pressure is mounting on transport operators to reduce fares following recent fuel price declines, with consumer advocates arguing that the benefits should be passed on to commuters. While lower pump prices have eased fuel cost for commercial drivers, transport operators insist that other operating expenses remain elevated, complicating calls for immediate fare adjustments. There's more in the following reports by Daniel Sakiti.
Fuel prices have eased in recent weeks, reducing the cost of filling tanks for commercial drivers.
To fill the tank, it will take about 600, but for the pass, that will be 800.
But despite the relief at the pumps, transport operators say rising maintenance, spare parts, and other operational costs remain a challenge.
Yes, I tell you first today, and they're high. I'm not to be frank, ever high because Nyama be ember from set ties always through. They say me cut ties between tobacco 600.
Commuters are pushing back, arguing that easing fuel prices and improving economic conditions should translate into lower transport fares.
For me, if fuel is reduced, yes, price of fare should be reduced, but then there is still an issue that should be tackled and be discussed.
Public Relations Officer of GPRTU, Abbas Imoro, however, says fare adjustments will be considered when conditions permit.
The last year, 15%, nobody forced us. Now there has been another reduction. And all we are saying is yes, if the need arises that we should decrease lorry fares further, we will do that without hesitating.
Executive Secretary of COPEC, Duncan Amwa, maintains that current fuel price movement justify a fare reduction of up to 10%.
So one would expect that we would also be a bit reasonable with the commercial transport operators in order that we don't go collecting every single cent or peso that they may gain as a result of these price reductions you're seeing at the pump. So that conversation should be within a certain context, not the kind of context where you go 20-30%. It is not feasible. 5-10%, I'm sure they will be able to accommodate. They will be able to give all of us some relief. That relief is also expected to trigger a downward trajectory in the cost of goods and services also within countries.
Let's now bring you an update on how the currency is performing on the interbank market. And that's it for Channel One Business. I am Nashika Caesar. Frima, back to you.
Thank you very much, Na. Let's now do some other stories. Residents of several communities along the Tano and Bisi rivers in the Tano North municipality of the Ahafo region say illegal mining activities, popularly known as galamsey, have devastated their main sources of water. They warn that with the dry season intensifying and alternative water sources drying up, the affected communities risk severe water shortages that could threaten their survival. Channel 1 News' Michael Saponofum reports.
The Tano and Bisi rivers remain critical water sources for thousands of residents across the Bunu East and Ahafo regions. The River Tano in particular provides raw water for 3 major Ghana Water Company treatment plants at Tanoso in Bunu East, Abisim in Bunu, and Achensua in Ahafo, serving both domestic and commercial water needs in several municipalities. However, illegal mining activities at the Jenim in the Tano North municipality have severely polluted the Bisi River. Once a dependable water source, the river has turned milky and is unfit for use. As a tributary of the Tano River, the polluted Bisi now feeds high volumes of turbidity into the main river, with contamination spreading further downstream. Communities including Adengo, Kuchi, Subrisu No. 1 and 2, Tanomu and Mankraho are already bearing the brunt of the pollution of the Tano River. One farmer who refused to give up his land to the miners, Kofi Asayadampe, shared his experience with the news team.
They came to me, but I said no, because my position and the age, people will think that I am behind it, so I didn't offer my land. And when you saw my farm, so that's part of it. When they couldn't cross mine, then that's why they stopped. I don't know whether I've not gone there for the past 2 weeks. I don't know. But as far as I'm concerned, to the best of my knowledge, I have not offered my piece of land because I have mango plantation on it, citrus plantation on it, and I wouldn't want it to be destroyed.
Residents of Tanoso, who also depend heavily on the Tano River, have similarly expressed frustration over the worsening pollution.
By a few minutes a year, the world sultan or the Yadian help people in every Sunyanet and also mine. But and I'm no say, and I'm sick and liberty. And in the Paboni, I bring out my fafa, Ghana, mine home album person, mine be 2 points. I'm going to get them say,
Believes authorities have failed to take decisive action to flush out the illegal miners from the area.
That chalky, I don't know whether I would say chalk or clay water. Must I use that one to spray my farm? That I won't tell you that I am disadvantaged, and every farmer there is disadvantaged. The authorities are there, they also have eyes, they have conscience. Let them go by their conscience.
Efforts to get officials of the Tano North Municipal Assembly to comment on the matter were unsuccessful.
Residents who live along the Tano and BC rivers in the Tano North municipality of the Ahafo region are calling on the Tano North Municipal Security Council to flush out illegal miners whose activities are destroying these two river bodies. For Channel 1 News, I am Michael Saponinfum.
The Rubber Farmers Association of Ghana, RUFAG, has staged a demonstration in 2nd D, petitioning the President and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to resist calls by rubber processors and other stakeholders for a ban on the export of raw rubber. Presenting their petition through the Western Regional Minister, Joseph Nelson, after the protest, RUFAG General Secretary Michael Nyako appealed to government to ignore what he described as pressure from Ghana Rubber Estate Limited, GROW, and other processes. Channel 1 News' Western Bureau Chief Akwesi Jeyanim reports from 2nd D.
Escorted by dozens of police officers, aggrieved members of the Rubber Farmers Association of Ghana from across the country, supported by some rubber buyers, marched from Takoradi to 2nd D. The demonstrators carried placards with inscriptions such as, "Agric Minister must listen to rubber farmers," "Don't destroy the rubber industry with your ban," "Rubber industry not for grail," "Protect the youth rubber farmers," "Rubber farmers are not slaves to processors," and "No export, no rubber industry." In their petition, RUFAG General Secretary Michael Nyako, who presented the document to the Western Regional Minister, dismissed claims of unchecked rubber export. He insisted that exporters comply with all regulatory requirements and blamed the calls for a ban on what he described as self-serving interest of GREL and its allies.
The actors of the natural rubber industry in Ghana, especially the farmers group, while busy preparing to engage relevant institutions on the raw rubber price mechanism, has taken note of recent public statement by Ghana Rubber Estate, GRE, the Rubber Processor Association of Ghana, RUPAG, the Western Regional House of Chiefs, and the ranking member of Parliament, Trade and Industrial Committee, Honorable Michael Ochibefi. These statements allege that export of rubber are unchecked and hence undermine local processing, threaten Ghana's industrialization agenda to create jobs, and allegedly cause annual losses of up to $100 million. We wish to state categorically that these claims are false, self-serving, and do not reflect the realities of Ghana's rubber industry. The so-called processors, whom we call dryers, because they are not in actual fact processing rubber in Ghana, they are pushing for an export ban. It's not about protecting national industrialization. It is a deliberate attempt to monopolize the market, suppress competition, and force farmers to sell rubber cap plums at artificially low prices.
He further questioned why these processors are not able to buy rubber farmers' produce at appropriate prices.
We want the President of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, to hear from us that RUFAC is not against raw rubber processing or processes. In fact, we are asking the so-called dryer company to answer this simple question. It is not a PhD question, simple question.
The Western Regional Minister, Joseph Nelson, assured the demonstrators that their concerns will be forwarded to the appropriate authorities.
For these rubber farmers and rubber buyers, their message to government is very simple. Government must actually not allow itself to be convinced by the Ghana Rubber Estate Limited to ban the export of rubber. That for them has been actually giving them enough yield for their produce. And if government fails to adhere to their call, they will express their concerns and sentiments through the ballot box. For Channel 1 TV News, I'm Akwese Jenim. Secondly,
you're still watching the Channel 1 Newsroom, still to come. Nigerian national team players threatening to boycott training over unpaid winning bonuses. We'll be right back. Do stay with us.
The Soweto Secondary Schools Resco Alumni Association invites all alumni to its annual all-year groups Thanksgiving and Remembrance Service. There will be remembrance of the departed PSCs and also the launch of the 67th Speech and Prize Giving Day. The date, Sunday the 18th of January 2026. Time, it's 2 p.m. Venue, Cedar Mountain Assemblies of God Church, East Legon. Contact your year group president and register your attendance now. Semper Cum Optimus, always with the best.
Hey Ghana, so you people know Miss Brother once more. Even you, it's your boy. Kill them all. But this time, I'm not only killing mosquitoes, I am killing the greats. See? This wouldn't have been possible if I didn't have the perfect mosquito-free atmosphere. Thank you, Out Insecticide. And yeah, Out Mosquito Coil. For a mosquito-free atmosphere, trust Out to... You are not serious.
Out Insecticide. So ya boa, faha.
You're welcome back. Up next is Channel 1 Sports with Bernard Abeikotre. Bernard.
Hi, friends.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
The people don't want to pay the Nigerian players?
Yeah, they are behaving like Africans. Like, hey, what do we do?
Well,
the countries that we say we are developed proper in football, why should we misbehave? We should be the example.
At least it's not GFA. Please give us
details. It shall be great now. The Super Eagles of Nigeria's players are reportedly threatening to boycott training over unpaid winning bonuses at the ongoing 2025 African Cup of Nations in Morocco. Reports from Nigerian journalists say the team is owed bonuses for their first 4 matches of the tournament, all of which ended in victories against Tanzania, Tunisia, Uganda, and Mozambique. Despite maintaining focus on their AFCON campaign, the players are said to have issued a clear warning that they will not train or travel to Marrakesh on Thursday unless the outstanding payments are settled. The situation comes just days before Nigeria's quarter-final clash against Algeria on Saturday. Well, let's focus here in Ghana, and of course, Vision FC's head coach Nana Kweku Agyeman says the Ghana Football Association's 18 million Ghana cedis cash injection has gone a long way in helping clubs pay salaries and provide technical support for coaches. The payouts part of a new broadcast partnership with Adisa Productions delivers 1 million Ghana cedis to each of the 18 league clubs, aiming to strengthen the club's finances and professionalize the league.
With regards to how the money should be administered, I don't think we need any committee.
About salaries and bonuses, I think that it helps a lot.
Yeah.
Then with the technical team, we don't have a lot of load on us. When you look at equipment that comes to the field, and of course with the coaches, we need that to be able to finish, doing whatever we're doing. Players have GPS. My physical trainer is very happy with his GPS. Feeds us very well with information. So yeah, even in terms of the game, once somebody hits the red line on the game, he comes to say that, coach, this guy is tired. He said the red line will show us evidence. And of course, we need to do so to make sure that he doesn't get injured. During training, immediately after training, he comes to us and tells us, okay, he didn't train well, he didn't per their positions. They were supposed to get this number or this figure, we didn't get it. So tomorrow when they come after training, I want to push them a bit more so they can hit it. Or sometimes immediately after training, he comes and says that, this 4 or 5 players or 1 player has to run, do some runs and stuff. And the player will have to run to be able to achieve that target and stuff. So I think that is going a long way to help us as a technical team and as a playing body.
And that's the very latest from the world of sport, and I am Bernard Abekootri. That's your sports streams.
Thank you very much, Bernard.
You're welcome.
Right, and that's how we wrap up. This has been the Channel 1 Newsroom, but you can also visit our website, channel1newsonline.com, for information on our top stories and more. Subscribe to Channel 1 TV on YouTube for more exclusive video content from Channel 1 TV. Download the Channel 1 TV app on Google Play Store. I'm Frema Edunyame. Thanks for watching.